It's money.
It's a dollar.
It's a dollar.
$1.
There it is. Is this a real dollar?
No, it's a fake dollar.
How do you know it's a fake dollar?
Because it doesn't really fake dollar. Because it isn't that big. Because it's green.
Okay.
It's supposed to be green, not this color.
Okay, so we know it's by size. We know by color. There it is. See, there's the real one. Now you want to hold up your real one. See?
Hey, that one's mine.
See? Now, what else? This is an old one. See, this is an old one. They're going to make new bills, new dollars that aren't going to look like that. Have any of you seen the new $5 bill? It has a much bigger. Yes, yes it does.
Mommy gave this to me.
Now, put your dollar bill away, please, because I love dollar bills and I might take it. So put it in your pocket, please. Thank you. Now, how does somebody that you give this money to know if it's real or not? How did you know this wasn't real? We said, one, it's size, two, it's color, three, it doesn't feel like real money. Real money has a specific feel to it.
It's wrinkly.
This is kind of wrinkly, yes, it's usually used, yeah. It doesn't feel like real money.
Soft, but
Real money has it's not just paper, it has fabric in it.
pass it around. Oh yeah, and it's another one because they don't really have a circle.
Right,
They
right.
don't really have a circle.
And new bills have a hologram in them. If you look at them, you can see an imprint.
Yeah,
Okay, may I have my dollar back here for a
You
minute?
can see it from the back.
Yes, you can. If you hold up to the light, you can see it. Now, do you know any expressions about money? Any sayings about money? Do you?
They make $2, $20, a $30 bill. And you can, if you have $100, if you have if you have 100 cents, you can turn it into a big bill. You can get a $100 bill.
You can trade up money in for a bigger bill. Yes, you can. Do you know a saying about money? What?
Well, after they make it, they can put a design on it, and then they can pretend.
There's a saying on a dollar bill. Do you know what that saying is?
No.
You don't? Oh, it says, "In God we trust." What I'm talking about when I'm talking about sayings about money are things like this. Money does not grow on trees. Have you ever heard that?
Yes.
Has anybody ever said to you, money doesn't grow on trees?
I've seen it on commercials. This dog, he was broke and there was money in the street.
So he shook. How about this one? Pinch pennies. What do you think it means to pinch pennies?
They can't break.
They can't break or nothing.
Okay, and you're gonna,
They're plastic.
they're plastic. You're gonna keep them in your pocket. You're gonna save them. To pinch is to
But
save.
because they're not like real, or if they're real, I mean like it's flat or something.
Real money is made, has a metal on it.
My mom has a dollar and
Let's look at another one. I owe an arm and a leg. If I owe an arm and a leg, do I owe a little or a lot?
a
A lot, that's right.
money.
Put in your 2 cents. Sometimes when people are talking, they'll say, well, put in your 2 cents. What does that mean?
Bet.
Do you know? What do you think that means?
I think it means that they should save it, and when they have a lot, they could spend it for something.
Maybe, or maybe it means that they don't think their opinion's worth very much. They're only going to give 2 cents for it.
Or you could bet.
You could bet. Could be a bet. Let's look at another one, okay? We'll come back. That costs a pretty penny. If something costs a pretty penny, does it cost a lot or a little?
A lot. Can you scoop 2? I mean 4.
Put in your 2 cents. No, we did that. Here's the
Sorry. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Back away from that.
I'm not Money.
Because it might be $1 or something.
If I say to somebody, give me $1, and they say, I'm not made of money, are they going to give me money? No, they're not. They don't have it to spare. And let's see. Show me the money. Show me the money. You want to buy something? Show me the money. Yeah. And save? That's right, save for a rainy day. Why would you need money on a rainy day?
Because it might get wet.
It might get wet.
Or you
And it might.
And if your
Might
rent
fall
falls
down.
down.
You might have run out of food. You might have an emergency on a rainy day. Have you ever heard the expression, when it rains, it pours?
Yes.
That means when trouble comes, usually lots of trouble comes. Well, that's when you want the money you saved for a rainy day. Yes?
On the first one we did, money was given. When people say that money doesn't know, they don't, but they're making.
Yes, they are. Good for you. Well, I've got a story. I know you know the Bernstein Bears.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
Trouble with money.
Trouble with money.
I have bad dreams.
Well, we're going to read Trouble with Money, and what I want you to do is listen, and if you hear one of our expressions that we talked about, just raise your hand, okay? I don't want to stop the story then, but that'll let me know that you're listening. I'm just going to read this one this time. Okay? Here we go. Trouble with money. Bear and Sister Bear knew quite a lot about the ways of Bear Country. They knew where the most beautiful wildflowers grew. They knew where the wild berries were the thickest and the juiciest. They knew the best spot for watching sunrises and sunsets. They knew where all the best honey trees were. They even knew a very special place where you could almost always see a rainbow from a secret place behind a waterfall. But there were some things they didn't know very much about. One of the things Brother and Sister Bear didn't understand very well was money. Oh, they knew that money was fun to have and even more fun to spend. And whenever they got some, as a present, or for doing a chore for a neighbor, or for no reason at all from Grizzly Gramps, who tended to spoil them, or from Papa Bear, who spoiled them even more, they ran as fast as their legs could carry them to the Bear Country Mall, and they spent it for honeycomb on a stick, a balsa wood glider that did loops, a tiny little mouth organ that only played 3 notes. They never bought anything sensible, and they hardly ever saved. Once in a while, Sister put money in her piggy bank, but she usually shook it out again before it had a chance to cool off from her hot little hand. Brother didn't even have a piggy bank. Mama was becoming concerned about the cubs' carefree, spendthrift way with money. I think Brother and Sister should have a regular allowance, she said one evening when she and Papa Bear were working on the family books. An allowance, said Papa. Yes, so they can learn to use money sensibly, to save, to plan ahead. Oh, no, said Papa. They're much too young for that sort of thing. Let them enjoy themselves. They'll have to worry about money soon enough when they're grown-ups, he added with a sigh. But it was Papa who first lost patience with their carelessness about money. It happened one day when the cubs had been at a mall spending some pennies a neighbor had given them for walking her dog. That was when they saw the new video game. It was called Astro Bear, and it looked very exciting. A video game? At the mall, Papa shouted. You must think I'm made of money. The cubs thought no such thing, and when they pictured it, it seemed very strange. Mama could see they were puzzled, and she explained, made of money is just a figure of speech, my dears. That's when the cubs realized the situation was very serious. because Papa Bear only used figures of speech when he was upset. "You must think money grows on trees," he shouted. Another figure of speech. "Video games indeed," he continued, becoming more and more upset. "There was no such thing as video games when I was a cub. Why, I didn't even know what money was until I was almost grown." "Precisely, my dear," interrupted Mama, "and that is why this might be a very good time to start brother and sister on a regular allowance so that they can—" "Absolutely not," roared Father, knocking over a chair. "They must earn their money. That's what life is about. Working, earning money, saving for a rainy day." The cubs knew the situation was really serious. Papa had used 3 figures of speech and knocked over a chair. They decided right there and then to mend their careless spendthrift ways. It turned out that the cubs were very good at earning money once they set their minds to it. First, they gathered wildflowers from those special places they knew about. They made them into bouquets and sold them by the side of the road. Business was very good. They gathered those fat, juicy wild berries and sold them door to door. Business was very, very good. Brother and sister were turning out to be even better at making money than they had been at spending it. They organized guided tours of Bear Country's finest beauty spots. Sister's piggy bank was jam full. They started a very successful pet minding business. Brother had to borrow Mama's sugar bowl to keep the extra money in. At first, Papa was very impressed and pleased. But when the cubs started selling maps showing the locations of the best honey trees, Papa began to have doubts. "Those honey trees are a family secret," he complained. "The cubs don't seem to understand that some things are more important than money. They've gone from caring too little about money to caring too much. Why, just look at them. They're turning into greedy, selfish little misers right before our eyes," he continued. He pointed at the cubs, who did, at that moment, look like little misers greedily counting their money. "Cubs," said Papa in his sternest voice, "we're going to have another talk." But before he could start his speech, the cubs took all the money they had earned selling flowers and berries, doing chores, minding pets, and selling honey tree maps, and dumped it on his lap. "Here, Papa," said Brother, "this is for you." "That's right," said Sister. "We thought if we made some money for you, you wouldn't have to worry about it so much." "We hope that's enough." Papa Bear was so startled and so embarrassed at having been so wrong about them that he was speechless. "That's very generous," said Mama. "It's quite a sum of money, and I know Papa appreciates it. But I have what may be a better idea. Papa does worry about money, of course. Most mamas and papas do from time to time. But what Papa's really worried about is you. He wants to be sure that you know that there's more to money than how to spend it." "You know what I think," said Papa. "I think we should start brother and sister on a regular allowance so that they can use the money sensibly, to save, to plan ahead." "What an excellent idea," said Mama, smiling. "What about the money we earned?" asked the cubs. "You earned it, and it's yours," said Mama. "What I suggest is we take it down to the mall and put it in the Bear Country Bank." "Good suggestion," said Papa. "That money can be your nest egg." "Oh dear," cried the cubs, another figure of speech. "And a very appropriate one," said Mama. She explained that the nest egg is the one the farmer leaves in the nest to hatch another chick. When you put money in the bank, it hatches interest. "Interest?" asked the cubs, puzzled. "The bank will pay you for leaving your money there. That's called interest." That day, the Bear family went to the bank and opened an account for the cubs. It so happened that the bank was right next to the video arcade. "Say, that looks interesting," said Papa when he saw Astro Bear game. "Let's give it a try." So the Bear family, all of them, gave it a try. Papa ended up with the lowest score. "You know," he said, "we didn't have video games when I was a cub. Will you let me have another chance at this sometime?" "Any time at all," said Brother and Sister, giving their Papa a great big hug. The lowest score. Thank you. Now, we spend money tool. It's a tool like any other tool. You want to fix a car, you have tools for fixing a car. You want to fix dinner, you have tools in your kitchen for fixing dinner. If you want to buy something or you need to buy something, you use money. Money can be spent two different ways, for what we need and what we want. Let's see if you can distinguish the difference. This is a television. Is it a need or a want?
A want.
It is a want. Some people would say, I have to watch Monday Night Football, it's a need. No, it's a want. This, do you need an airplane?
No.
No, not yet. Someday you might, but not yet. It's not a toy, it's a real one. You might need to travel, but basically, this is a want. Let's see what we have here. Ah, this one might be trickier.
Need. What? I need that phone.
Okay, let's talk about this. How many of you have a phone that attaches to the wall at your house? Okay. The rest of you use cell phones, don't you?
Yeah.
So that is a need. You have to have a phone for safety. Okay? So a cell phone is a need. Ah, everyone needs or wants. It's a need. You need a place to stay.
a big house.
It is a big house, and I wouldn't want to have to clean it.
Who's talking over me?
That's out of the magazine. It's all I could
They're all
find.
out of magazine.
Ah,
Once.
okay. Let's say they're not boots, they're just shoes. Do you need shoes?
Yes. Yeah.
You can't go a lot of places unless you have shoes. They're not going to let you in. But they are cool boots. That's a one. Now this, it's a credit card, isn't it? Okay. Now, why would you need a credit card?
Like buy drinks and food.
Okay, a credit card is another form of money. It is money, okay, just like a check is. So it depends on how you use this. If you use it for things you need, that's one thing. Sometimes you might use it for fun, but you don't want to use it only for things that you want. Oh, you're all wearing clothes, aren't you? Yeah. You have to stay home if you don't have to.
Yep. Some Indians are naked.
Oh, this might be trickier. You don't need a pet, but most people would like to have one.
You need it for I don't play here.
You could. That's a point. Okay, how many of you live in Martinsburg? There's still places that you have to get to that you can't walk, aren't there? Yeah. Now, my daughter lives in a city and she can walk everywhere she needs to go. So she doesn't need a car. But she does. She wants one. But she paid for it. Ah. Yes, you need food. You have to have food.
Look at that food. I want that.
Oh, jewelry. Do you need jewelry? Yep. What's this? Yeah, most people need furniture. I mean, look how comfortable you are in the car. On the floor, right?
I'm not
And what about vegetables? Where are they? Do you know where the vegetables are? Yeah.
I do.
Yeah?
I know. They're like on that side.
Yeah, they're usually on the side over here. How about magazines? Where are they? Right at the checkout, right. Flowers? Yeah,
The checkout?
they're close. They're right up here by between the vegetables.
Are you talking about Walmart?
Close. What about bread? Where's the bread? Yes. It's in the aisle, but it's usually in the back aisle. It's back here. How about meat? What about meat?
Not me. No, it's not me. No, her.
On that side, on the side, yeah.
It's usually back here along the back wall. And let's see, when you have a sale on something, where is that? Yes.
Like in aisles.
Yes, it's usually at the front of the aisle. But the real sales, the final sales, are always in the back. Why do you think the store puts things like bread, milk, and meat in the back?
They're kind of important.
They're important. If they're important, why aren't they up here at the checkout?
Because someone could steal them.
No, they could, but they'd be more likely to take candy.
Upstairs too high compacted.
That's a good point. It might be cooler back here. But you know why they do that? Because they know you're going to come in and you're going to buy milk, bread, eggs, meat, and they want you to have to walk through all the other things that might tempt you. So that's why the candy, the magazines, and the flowers are always up here at checkout, because you're going to be checking out, you're going to be standing there in line, and you're going to think, oh, I haven't read that magazine, and oh, here's this candy bar I like. You don't need them, but you'll buy them. So stores are very smart. Next time you go to the grocery store, you might point that out. Okay? Yes?
That's a sugar picture.
Oh, okay. Now, you would quietly find a place at the table.